Hi, welcome to this tutorial. Obviously it's slightly different to the tutorials I normally do in a workshop, simply because we've gone a bit more high tech and we're going to be using CAD packages just to develop and manufacture the Halo firearm really. This is a package called Pro Desktop. It's used throughout secondary schools throughout England. It's quite common, and it's a solid surface modelling package really. So you can use surface modelling, but we tend to use solid modelling just by extruding simple shapes like squares, etc. So that's quite useful. Onto these to construct them. This is a gun that I've designed so far, and it is to measurements, but I've used the measurements from one of the toys, the very small action figures, and just scaled it up really. And applied some of the detailing, so where it may not be as accurate as a proper handgun, it's as accurate as I can get it using the firearms from the toys really. And I've added a few details just by looking at some of the images that I found on the internet. So I've quickly knocked this up in Pro Desktop. You can see where the magazine will go at the bottom of the handle. And the best thing about Pro Desktop is, as well as doing solid modelling like this, it also allows you to do engineering drawings off the drawings that we've already done in this area. So if I wanted to create an engineering drawing, and I'll do this very quickly because of the time that YouTube allows us to have. So if you click onto there, you can see I've got the various different views here. Add modelling view again, this time we'll go for frontal. Okay, so you can see we've got the views in there, and then if I need to dim them up or dimension them up, it allows me to do that quite easily, and I can dimension all this up if I need an engineering drawing. But the best thing about this package is I can then send this as an STL file to the Rapid Prototyper, and so I don't really need the dimensions as such on this engineering drawing, although when I'd used the other part of the software, which was the design software, I did actually do it to scale to the best I can. Now, in addition to that, I've done an assembly drawing. So if I just close out of this one, and there it is. So now what we can see is I've inserted the magazine into the drawing, and the best thing about CAD software is it enables you to edit things and join things and animate things, and just see if they work before we actually start to manufacture them. Now, although I could have done this by hand, the accuracy of it, it's easy to, because it would fit into the Rapid Prototype that I've got access to, it just made it more sense to design it on the CAD software, and it's probably took me about an hour and a half to dimension this and to draw all these up and assemble them. And then we'll just save that as an STL file, which will transfer over to the Rapid Prototyper. The other part of this package is something called Photo Album, and what Photo Album allows you to do is create a image that is photorealistic, so it looks as close to the real thing as possible. So if we just close that one for a second, yes I do. Right, and now you can see I've took it into Photo Album, and I've rendered it by just literally clicking on stainless steel and applying the material. So I'll select the part, apply material, and I'll just hit the traffic lights and it renders it to that material. Really, and it puts all the shadows in, etc. And even on this I can still rotate it round to the best view that I need really, so I can move that up and down or half zoom out, etc. And I can put anything on this really to render it. If I wanted to go up market a bit more Call of Duty, what I could do is change it to gold, and it's just a case of again selecting the part, clicking it to gold polish, so we can make it a sort of a golden type. And that's quite easy to do, and there's loads of different materials there as well. It isn't just about all the materials. If I was doing a proper rendering, then I was going to use in some animation or flash animation. The facility does allow me to select certain faces and change colour, for example. So that should now turn black. But any colour that you change to the metals, obviously you have to bear in mind that it mixes it with the colour as well. From there I could then go to non-metal. So if I wanted it plastic polish, which is probably normally what it would be anyway, to be honest, I'll update the material from there, and it should go with a sort of a grey colour, which is a default colour in Pro D, but it'll allow me to change anything then onto here as well, so I can change it any sort of colour really and texture if I wanted to, so it's quite useful that way. So I've done it in red. Any images that I wanted to put onto here as well, I can import these in. There is a facility to do this, but it's more on the advanced side of it. So you can see we've got things like polka dot in here. If I wanted it to be coloured, this one's jelly beans, and do part of the gun in jelly beans. So you can see the images that we can get in, and we can also change, as you can imagine, on something as versatile as this, the image backgrounds. So I don't know if I wanted it with clouds, with a bit of snow, should we have? We could actually do that as well. So it's a useful bit of kit. It's very quick, very easy to use, and it gives us the desired results. The next stage for me is to actually make these as a prototype, and to do that, all I'm going to do with there is literally go back to my original drawing, which was assembly 1, and from there all I literally do from there is just go to File, Export, STL file. I'll save that one, and because the printer I'm using is a Z-core and it's American, I'm going to keep it on ASCII rather than changing it to the European binary. Scales 1:1, that's okay, so I can scale it at this point if I need it bigger, but that's the right scale it's been drawn to. Don't need it on Angular. Click onto OK, and I'll show you the next stage when it goes to the Rapid Prototyper in the next clip. And so that's just a brief introduction to this software and designing things in 3D.